We'll start with the roll call. Patrick Carrier,
Here.
Mike Gerbulis,
Here.
Scott Halstead,
Here.
Matthew Hutt-Wagner,
Here.
Inez St. James,
Here.
Liz Sanford, Mike Walsh.
He is actually out today.
Yep, he called in, and James Ratcliffe.
Here.
Okay.
All right, and
All right, we're good?
and this is just me. My son has came down with COVID, so I'm being a little extra cautious in the office. So
It's all good. We can hear you just fine. All right, so unless Liz joins, James, let's appoint you as a voting member. You're okay with that?
I am.
Thank you. All right, so good evening, everyone. This is Inez St. James. Welcome to Town of Farmington Plan and Zoning Meeting. Today is Monday, July 11th, 2022. And Scott, if you could read the legal notice, please, I would appreciate it.
Absolutely. Town of Farmington, Town Plan and Zoning Commission. Notice is hereby given that the Town Plan and Zoning Commission will hold an online public hearing Monday, July 11, 2022 at 7 p.m. on the following application. Town of Farmington application for municipal opt-out regarding accessory apartments in accordance with Connecticut General Statute, Section 8-20F. Interested parties are encouraged to participate in this online public hearing. The link to this meeting can be found on the Town of Farmington's website on the address on your screen. A copy of this proposal is online at the address there as well, or by calling the planning department at Farmington Town Hall at 860-675-2325. Dated at Farmington, Connecticut, this 23rd day of June, 2022. Town Plan and Zoning Commission, Inez St. James, Chair.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, we have a couple new business items. Let's, those are applications we need to accept, excuse me. If we can run through them, that would be awesome, since we do have a public hearing. And it's summer, just kidding. But yeah, if we can get through these items, that would be great. Patrick?
Oh, yeah, Patrick Carrier. I'd like to make a motion to accept the application by 402 Farmington Avenue LLC -400 Farmington Avenue for special permit for blasting and schedule a public hearing with a recommended hearing date of July 25th, 2022.
Thank you. And a second?
Scott Halstead, I second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great, thank you. Next item?
Oh, do I have the wrong,
Oh.
So new business, my agenda, I only have, that's the only one I have.
Oh, yeah, there was an updated one that went out.
Okay,
Yeah.
can we
You
go
know
on the
what?
screen?
yep, I can do that. I think
Yeah.
I have it right here. Right there. See it?
Yep. Okay. So I'd like to accept the application for a zoning text amendment by the town of Farmington to modify Article 2, Section 11 to add church as a special permit use to the business restricted BR zone and schedule a public hearing with a recommended hearing date of July 25th, 2022.
Thank you. And second? I need a second, please.
Scott Halstead, I second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're good. Liz did not join us, right? All right, so James, you're on for the entire meeting. Thank you.
You got it.
Sounds good. Thank you. All right, we do have a public hearing today. And the hearing is, the application is from Town of Farmington. It's an application for municipal opt-out regarding accessory apartments in accordance with Connecticut General Statute, Section 820F. And Bruce, will that be you?
Yep,
Okay.
that'll be me. All right. Shannon had sent out the agenda review, so everything was pretty well spelled out. I'll just kind of follow through. We'll go through these, and if anyone has any questions at the end, we can discuss them at the end.
I don't want to
No, go ahead.
stop you, but I'm wondering, I don't know how many people from the public we have, but The agenda review is great. I wonder if we should read some of, do you think this should be, that it's gonna be part of the record? Sorry,
Well,
the proposal?
yeah, I'm gonna read, I'm gonna go through pretty much the agenda review, explain the
Go ahead, yeah,
changes
yeah.
that were made. We'll review what we have now, what the differences are, and then we'll go over what.
By each point, okay, that's fine.
Exactly.
All right, thank you. Sorry, everyone.
Nope. So going by the agenda review, just so everyone knows, the state recently passed a new state statute with regarding accessory apartments. As part of that, they've made it that if these statutes become permanent, that if you don't opt out by actually January 1st of 2023, then these accessory apartment regs become part of your zoning regulations. So as part of that, we're actually requesting or suggesting that these regulations, that we actually opt out and we stick with our accessory regulations that we currently have. And for that, we will go through the reasons. These right here are the main reasons on why we feel that we should be opting out. The first one is with regards to the size of the apartments. Currently, Farmington's regulations permit a maximum accessory apartment size of either 30% of the living area of the home or 650 square feet, or with a maximum of 650 square feet. Residents can go up to a 900 square foot with a special permit. Right now, the state is mandating or is allowing an apartment as much as 1,000 square feet. All right. The second one is Farmington's regulation requires all accessory apartments to be established within a new or existing single family home. So what does that mean? That means that the accessory apartment is part of the actual living home. So there's no accessory, it's not part of a detached garage, it's not out in a shed. It's part of the home. The state regulations are allowing what they call a detached accessory apartment. So those are where you can build a second unit on the property or a second building on the property and have a second home. All right. For the third option, we require Farmington regulations include provisions to cover habitable and non-habitable space on residential properties, and there are provisions governing expanded homes. What the state wants to do is the state wants to change and allow various reduce setbacks, reduce frontages, and not get involved with any kind of a coverage or anything like that. As those that have been on for a while have noticed, we do have an expansive home permit where the applicant needs to come in for any time they're exceeding 30% expansion of the existing home or total of accessory building. So we do have a process where you need to come in for a special permit on these items. If we don't stay with this and we go with the state system, people can be putting larger secondary homes on their property. So you could have 2 large homes on a property, lots of driveway space, and no way to really govern how that happens on the property. Okay. Now, this is a quick little going through of many of the highlights of the actual proposal of the state statutes. This is the first one with regards to a as of right. So they're giving towns and they're giving homeowners the ability to put an apartment, an accessory apartment as of right. We do the same right now. Ours is as of right, but ours is as of right with a maximum of 650 square feet, special permit with 900 and with a 900 square feet. As I said before, the state's allowing you to go up to 1,000. They're also saying allowing accessory apartments to be detached. We went over that, just not being able to control how many units or buildings are on the property and then where they are. The state is also allowing, as we said here, a 30% of the actual principal dwelling or 1,000 square feet. Again, our maximum is 650. we can go up to 900 with a special permit. The state's asking or allowing people to go up to 1,000 square feet. This is the section I was going over a little bit about the setbacks, the lot sizes, and the building frontages here. Same thing, there's no regulation for lot coverage or anything like that. So again, people can come in, build 2 homes on the property, driveways, garages for each home, and we can get into a lot of development on some of our smaller parcels of land. As we said, our apartments roll in all of our residential properties. So you can get a small 10,000 square foot property, have a home and have a detached second home on the property, have a detached garage, have a shed. So you could be jamming a lot of this stuff onto a small property. And if we don't opt out, we have no real say as to how that property is developed. Okay. Same thing with the landscaping, architectural design, and the impervious area, which is the driveways, the roofs, and all of those areas. Also, the state is allowing people to just, per se, is not requiring a passageway between any accessory apartment and a special principal dwelling. So what does that mean? Our regulations require inside of that home, you have a separate living area, right? And it has its own door. What the state is saying is that you don't need to have any of this. So you could just take your bedroom and throw a kitchen off to the side, and that accessory apartment is now part of the house. We make it more or less, ours is mandated for family. You've got to be blood family or a worker. So what happens is we make it part of the home. It's actually separate from the home. It has its own entrance and exit, and there's a regulation inside the regulation. It says that home, once that family member has left or whatever, that house that wall can be taken down and simply become part of the home again. So that's how ours is. There, as we said here, the state is not requiring that it have any kind of family, marital, or employment relationship. So it could be anybody. You can bring anybody into your home and rent out that accessory apartment. Same thing here. We talked about the building codes, and the state would also allow these apartments to be used for short-term rentals or vacation stays. So you can get into an Airbnb situation where I'm renting an apartment out of my house on a weekly basis if I wanted to throughout the summer. You know, I live in the village area. It's a very nice place to vacation, and I could have people coming in and out of there on a weekly basis. Talked about all this. This gets into just saying simply that once an application is in, we have 65 days to act on it, and if we don't act on it, it becomes approved. So the state is not allowing really any kind of adequate review time on that. And then over here,
So there's no special permit?
no special permit.
Okay.
No special permit. And then over here, the municipality shall not condition the approval of an accessory apartment on the correction of a non-conforming use or structure or lot. So they're saying that you can't hold up an apartment because there's a zoning of violation on the property, or you can't require the installation of fire sprinklers unless they are required by fire code. And this is all technicals. This is all gets into more stuff talking about that you can't charge extra sewer use or utilities for any of these extra what they call ADU, which is accessory dwelling unit. I'll go into this process next. I know this is a lot all at once, but anybody have any kind of questions?
Well, the one thing to clarify is, so it's all or nothing, right?
Yes.
Where they're opt-in or we have this regulation that will supersede what we have. If we are comfortable voting on it, and it's up to all of the commissioners, we need a 2/3 majority.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. And then what happens after, just procedurally? So what happens?
All right. That was this next
Oh,
section.
okay.
No, that's all right. So so to opt out, we would first have to have the public hearing, all right, which we're doing here, okay? Then we have to affirmatively decide that we're going to opt out of this section, all right? We have to state upon the record on why we're opting out, and those are the three things that we talked about first. Once it's, or if it is approved, then we then publish a notice in a newspaper, okay? After that is done, it then goes to the town council for the town council to approve. So once the town council approves it, and by in Minnesota legislative town meeting is Board of Selectmen by a 2/3 vote, they may complete the process by which such really opts out of the provision. So once the town council agrees to it, then it becomes law. So this all has to happen by the end of the year, or if it's not done by January 1st, we automatically are brought into the state system.
Okay, and, we'll go through questions. I'm sure commissioners will do that. We'll open it up to the public and then we'll continue talking about it, I'm sure. So, all right, Patrick, why don't you start? Questions for Bruce regarding the state regulation, questions, how it differs or against whatever we have in place now? Like, how do you see this going?
I have no question. I mean, I agree with it so far, that our rules seem to be in place. And yeah, so basically I think I like I'd rather opt out. Let me put it that way.
Got it, okay. Okay, thank you. How about Mike Graboulas?
I don't have any questions. I mean, the opt-out makes sense. Obviously, you guys in the planning office have put a lot of time into this and a lot of thought behind the opt-out, and I'm good with it.
Thank you. Scott?
Yeah, I agree with my fellow commissioners. I think, you're very thorough in describing the reasons and they make a lot of sense. I don't see a reason to opt out either, or to not opt out, excuse me.
And Matt?
So Bruce, can you speak a little bit from your sort of professional experience why the state of Connecticut decided to do this?
It from what I'm understood and from what I've read is that it is actually the lack of housing, and it's more of a lack of affordable housing. And what I mean by affordable is not the affordable like you and I would understand, like our regulations of saying you have to be a certain income. What it's saying is that you're coming into a lot of these suburban areas where, let's say, a home is averaging anywhere from $250,000, $500,000, and there's not a lot of options for apartments. So what this does is it allows people to get an affordable rent by renting out a portion of someone's home, and they're down to a sensible rent of, let's say, $1,000 to live in this town and be able to have adequate housing.
Understood. And do you think, or does the town think, the current zoning regs on the books for these type of units are good? Like,
I'll be honest with you. I mean, one thing is the detached structures. I can see a lot of concerns and a lot of problems with a detached structure. All right. I mean, right now, the commission has control over how a residential property is developed. So right now, as I said, you guys have the expansive home where anything over 30%, you guys have to review and approve. If we don't opt out, you have no say. So you could have a property right next to you with two large buildings on it, lots of driveways, lots of garages. Now we're getting into a runoff and an impervious problem. So you're affecting your neighbors. The other situation is you can be getting into a small lot, let's say a 10,000 square foot lot. All right, you have just enough area for the home, and you'll see a small family. So you've got a husband, a wife, and a child. So you got 3 cars, and they're just about fitting in the driveway as it is. Now you're adding an accessory dwelling unit that's being rented out. Now you're getting into a situation, where's that car going to park? All right. So it's not going to fit on the property. So most likely they're going to be on the driveway. So now I rent a 1 bedroom. Maybe it is just one person. but it could be a husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend. I now have 2 cars on that property. So now we've got parking on the street. So by opting out, I think the commission really gets to review how this property is developed and is able to ask questions such as this, that they feel that this property is properly being developed.
Got it. I understood. I guess my sort of follow-up to that is, just reviewing our Farmington's affordable housing plan. One of the recommendations, and I was on that, one of the recommendations is to relook at accessory apartments and update our zoning regs to match that, right? Is that something that we still feel is necessary at this point? And is this, does this give us a little bit of, an emphasis to update those?
You as a commission, I feel it's best, like I said, if we opt out, I think that's the best option at this point. We could opt out, and then after this, we could then massage our regulations to how we see fit. If people want to see an accessory apartment, great. You know what? Maybe we look at doing those for only R30s and R40s and above, looking at property sizes, still only making them attached and not having detached units, still being able to review how that's developed in terms of the expansive use of the property. So we can still go ahead with this. This isn't taking it off the record. What it's doing is it's allowing us to change our regulations as we see fit to modify it where we feel as a town it's better for our town and our community.
Got it. What do you think the last TPZ meeting is to hit the January 1 deadline? Like, when do you think we actually need to vote on this in order to hit the Jan 1 deadline?
Well, it wouldn't be the last TPZ meeting. We have got to go to the last council meeting. So we need to get it on the council agenda. So you're
Yeah,
probably
December.
talking, let's say we need to have this approved by October at the latest, maybe, to get it on the council agenda for November or early December,
Got it. I have some comments, but I'll save those after questions. Thank you.
Okay, great.
Good questions. Thank you, Matt. James?
I don't have any questions. Thanks.
All right. And did Liz join? Okay,
Oh, she is.
so Liz, we appointed James for in terms of a vote, but of course you have a chance to ask questions. Do you have questions for Bruce?
No, I just want to say thanks for the thorough analysis. I appreciate that. And in my opinion, I feel, I think I appreciate the idea of a local control, of a Farmington spin on this, not a cookie cutter approach to the whole state. So I feel that opting out will give us the most flexibility to be responsive to the town's needs.
Thank you. Well said. I don't have any new questions either. I did look at the proposal, or not the proposal, the regulation for the state and what we have. I definitely think we probably should look at our accessory apartments. It's not a bad idea at all, but this definitely, in my opinion, and I know when we vote, we have to vote and specify in our vote 1, 2, or 3. So just remember that from the agenda review. But I do think that if this was adopted the way it's intended, it would change the character of our town.
And like I said, I think the main thing is it takes away all of the control of the commission as well as staff. You know what I mean? We would have a harder time trying to make improvements to the property to address this, because it's a blanket, just as Liz Sanford said, it's a cookie cutter regulation. So it works in other towns, but maybe it's not something that we want to have in Farmington.
All right, so Bruce and our commissioners, thank you. Since this is a public hearing, do we have anyone from the public that wishes to speak in favor or opposition of this text? I mean,
You
we do?
have one?
Oh, good. Okay, great.
Oh, she up. Jane Scholl, did you have your hand up? Allow you to talk if you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yep, if you could just state your name and your address, for the record.
Jane Scholl, 38 Colton Street.
How are you?
Good.
Good,
Um,
good, thank you. Go ahead.
I found that analysis very helpful, but was that a document? I didn't see that attached to the application.
What?
Review.
The analysis that you just
Oh,
provided.
that's,
and I
oh, yeah,
had-
that's just an agenda review as part of for all the commissioners.
Oh, okay.
We put that together as staff, so the commissioners for every single item on the agenda.
Oh,
The actual
Okay.
regulation is part of it.
and I wasn't able to see it I see that you put it on the screen, but I couldn't really read it. And so that was all very helpful to me because I didn't really understand what the present state of our regulations are. The one comment I would make though, about rentals, the statute does allow a municipality to prohibit or limit the use of accessory apartments for short-term rentals or vacation stays. So I don't think that would be an issue, but
Say that again? I couldn't hear you.
I said the statute, as far as I read it, says that that nothing in that section shall be in derogation of the ability of a municipality to prohibit or limit the use of accessory apartments for short-term rentals or vacation stays.
I think it says may regulate, right?
Yeah, is that, did I
Second from the
did I
bottom.
misspeak on that one? I apologize.
Mhm.
Where are you?
The second from the bottom, it says, we may regulate the use of.
Yes, oh, regular, oh, yes, I apologize. You're correct.
And so my understanding is from what you're saying is our present regulations do not allow for a detached accessory building. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yes,
That's right?
yes, yes, that is.
But can you add an addition onto your home as an accessory apartment?
Yes, yes, you can. And what our regulations allow a maximum of 650 square feet of an apartment or 30% of the home, of the actual living size of the home, whichever is smaller, all right? So, so you would do that as part of your addition. Now, if you go above and beyond the 30%, we fall under a regulation where we have an expansive home, where the commission looks at the size of the home as it relates to other areas. So what would happen is if you get into an area of, let's say, 1,500 square foot homes, somebody wants to build a 5,000 square foot home in that area. All right, that needs to go in front of the commission, and the commission looks at it and feels, is this the size of a home? Is this how we want this area to look? Is this going to be an intrusion on the neighborhood in terms of the size? So that's what the special permit and the hearing is about, is to actually discuss that. If we did not opt out, we would have no handle on that, and people can build large homes and whatever they felt on that property. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
All right, okay. Did you have anything else?
No, I mean, I think that the legislative intent was to allow for more affordable housing. And I also think for some of those situations where parents want to live near their children and can't afford to move to, another facility. I think that was some of the intent, and I think that's being done in some other states. But I can understand the idea of us having, some control of, under our own regulations of what happens. So that's just my comment.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much for calling in. Anyone else?
Anybody else have any comments or questions? If so, just hit the raise hand function on Zoom.
Nobody else, okay.
Going once. Going twice. All right, 3 times.
So I'm a little reluctant to close the public hearing yet. Just explain to me, Bruce, if we were to look at the current Farmington rules
Mhm.
on accessory apartments. Does this need to stay open? Like, help me out with this. We can close this for this portion and continue?
Yes, we can, I would suggest, like I said, if people are a little concerned with the regulations, like I said, you are definitely a commission and you are the ruling government. So if you're looking to make some changes, let's do that. We don't mind, we will work with you. However, I think it's important that we opt out. Because if we don't opt out, actually our hands are tied and we will not be able to make some of these changes that we see fit. It's not a pick and choose, it's an all or a nothing. So I think it's important that the commission understands that and feels, you know what, if that's the case, let's opt out, get this done, and beginning in January, we hit the ground running, and we look at options that the commission is interested in going with this.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Speak now before I close, commissioners. I'm going to close the public hearing unless you tell me otherwise right now.
That's good. Just make a comment.
Go ahead.
So for me, I mean, I agree the state's approach, the one size fit all doesn't work probably for Farmington. But for me, right, I agree with Bruce's reasons, but is this an instance where sort of deadlines spur action, similar to what we did with parking? We opted out and then we immediately sort of quote unquote opted in with new regs, right?
Yes.
That better fit Farmington.
Yep.
Should we use this time to do the same thing to, again, chip away at the affordable housing plan that everyone here, most here worked on, and then it shows the town and the community we are chipping away at these regulations and not, moving the goalpost down the road until January or 6 months from now.
Matt, I mean, I would agree. I mean, if that is the direction they'd like to go, what I would do though is I definitely would suggest we vote on this today, get this going, right? And then and the problem that we're having is that now we're getting into the second meeting in July is already full. We've got a lot of applications coming up. August, we're on break. So September, you're looking at getting into it, and we're probably going to be carrying some of those public hearings over into that. So if that's something that we want to do, we don't need to wait to January. If the commission feels they want to move that direction, we can then at least start addressing it at that point. But I think it's important that if we all agree that opt out is what we need to do, that we do that now and follow right behind it with the regulations. And I think the reason that timing is of an issue is because of August being no meetings, and then having the town council to vote on it as well. So we now need to meet with the town manager and make sure we can fit this into one of her upcoming meetings. So I think that's where some of the problems come in.
So Bruce, walk us through how do we get something like that on now? Like there's a deadline, like we have to do something.
Mhm.
Spur us to do something, or how do we even get something on the agenda to do something?
Well, that's the commission would then request that from our staff and say, hey, look, you know what, we want to move forward with a zoning regulation change, and we could set up a discussion item on the agenda, and maybe it's something that you guys kind of have August, we'll say to think about it, and then maybe in September we can then start putting some regulations together. I mean, we're kind of, if so that we don't go in there with a bunch of regulations and then get a lot of the commissioners not really in favor. And maybe we ask for some input from the from you and the other commissioners, and that way we can take that and kind of mold a regulation that we feel can be put in front of you guys as a draft, and then we could start chipping away at that draft, making the changes, and then getting that to a point where we then have a public hearing and we could get it changed.
You're satisfied, Matt? Because I do think
I'm a little bit of deadlines for actions, but because there's a lot of things and time could just move on and we might not ever get back to it. This forces us to get back
That's
to
not the
it.
case.
That's
We've had this regulation for many,
Yeah.
many years. decades.
I mean, Matt, you are,
That's my point. The regulation has been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Is it time to relook at it? And is this
And-
deadline forcing us to relook at it?
Yes, it is.
And if the
I
deadline,
think,
if we don't have a deadline anymore, will we even be able to look at it?
the commissioners can,
Yeah.
you can bring this up every single meeting, saying, hey, where are we, where are we standing on that? Where can we, we want to get this moving and, like I said, I don't think it'd be something that we need to, I'd be afraid to jump into it really quick and just get something out right, tomorrow. I think we really need, for something like this, we need to figure out how big these lots are gonna be. If that's the direction we're going, and say, you know what? Maybe go with a square footage and not a zone, or a zone and a square footage to kind of get an idea, and then marry it with our expansive home regulations. So that way, we're controlling it through the accessory
that makes
apartment.
sense. So what, I guess, Bruce, help me out with like, what's a time frame that, your office is comfortable looking at something like that?
Well, like I said, Shannon is not here right now, so I definitely don't want to speak for her. But like I said, we've got a lot of public hearings that are gonna be up at the next meeting. So we have a
So bring it
lot
up
of
for-
those coming up.
Can bring it up for next.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that's, you could discuss with her with next meeting. I could let her know. We can kind of go over it. But I mean, like I said, August, we've got a couple, we've got some vacation times, because that's usually when there's no land use meetings. So it's like, we're like
skeleton group right here.
the military, we all like scatter. We all scatter. We're off for the August, so we take our vacations that we couldn't take during the other times. So, but yeah, so I mean, you'll probably be looking at maybe getting into it in
Yeah.
in September, in September, October, plan those 2 months for us, for the commission to offer something to us as kind of an idea where they want to go. We make some changes. We get it back to you guys to review, mark up, edit, feel, is this what we're looking at? And then go from there.
All right, so Matt, I think it's important that we close the public hearing on this specific opt-out recommendation. And then I agree with you. It is something that we want to continue in terms of our current regulation. And, maybe nothing has to change. I don't know. But we definitely have to, in my opinion, I mean, we're going to take a vote, and you vote however, you feel comfortable, obviously. We definitely have to take action on this opt-out situation, because if we could pick and choose, that's one thing, but the way it stands, I don't think it's a good idea for our little town of 25,000 people. All right, so at this point, I'm going to close the public hearing. We need a motion and a second, and then we'll have a discussion before vote, please.
All right, Patrick Carrier. I would like to make a motion to approve the application by the town of Farmington for municipal opt-out regarding accessory apartment in accordance with Connecticut General Statute, Section 820F, for reasons listed on the agenda review.
Yeah, and then just as long as we say those, the three reasons.
Yes,
Right?
yes, the three,
In our vote.
yeah.
And a second, please.
This is James, a second.
Thank you. You okay?
Yep. I'm
All
good.
right, all right, we need a discussion. I mean, we need a discussion. Wow. All right, so discussion, right? So Matt brought up some good points. Patrick, are you comfortable with voting this evening and with either the reason 1, 2, or 3, or?
Yes, I am. I do believe that we have to just get this done. I think that's a different subject that, than the timeframe of, I do agree that, looking at our regulations is always a good thing. And it's just up to us to put the pressure to do that and come up with something. But yes, I do think that this has to move forward.
Okay. Mike?
Yep, I'm still in favor of the opt-out. And I have no issue with, as a commission bringing up, our regulations that we've done plenty of times in the past, to look forward, for any potential changes in the future.
Thank you. Scott?
Yeah, Matt makes a lot of good points. I think, deadlines do motivate, but I also think if we get this to Shannon and tell her it's a priority for us, that it's not going to get lost in the shuffle. So I'm okay voting tonight.
Okay. Matt?
No, I'm good. I'm comfortable voting. Thanks for listening to my
No, it was good. It's good. It's,
reaction speech here, but I agree that the one size fit all and having local control, and I know this commission, has the focus of Farmington at heart here, so I think it makes sense. I'm good to vote.
thank you. And, the regulation that we have in place has been around for a long time, so it probably needs to be looked at, right? To make sure it still feels and sounds right, and it's up to us if we want to make any changes. But yeah, I think it's not a bad idea at all. And housing is kind of a basic need, right? Anywhere you live. So thank you. Your points were great. James?
Yeah, I'm comfortable moving forward and agree with my fellow commissioners, and especially the piece about local control. And look forward to anything that we could come up as a group to come up with to amend our regulations.
Okay. So I'm in agreement. I'm also ready to vote. I think that the biggest thing for me is the density of the buildings. I can't imagine, I don't think that everybody's gonna all of a sudden bring a she shed or he shed, whatever, or build something.
Yep.
But I can't, the other thought is like driving through a little neighborhood and all of a sudden having these mixed buildings all over the place. I think that would definitely change the character of our town. So I am definitely ready to vote. So we'll make you do this again by person. If you can, so we have a motion and a second. We need for each commissioner, right?
Mhm.
To say the reason is either 1, 2, or 3. Is that how you want it or no?
No, I mean, they can vote. I mean, if there's we could just all vote at once.
Yeah,
if
that's
they
fine.
feel, and
Okay.
then if there's if there is a dissension vote, then we can go back
Fine.
and add that to it.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. I guess we're ready to vote? Okay, so all in favor for opting out of this regulation?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention? All right, it's unanimous.
Perfect.
That works for you?
Thank you, everybody.
All right, and we'll be bugging you and Shannon.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for your patience and great questions and discussion. All right,
Give me a second. I gotta cross some things out here.
all right, so we have a couple items, right?
Yep.
And
Yeah,
we have
this-
some guests online?
Yeah, just in case. I mean, it
Okay.
is under a planner's report, but I've had a problem opening up way too many documents on here and it kind of freezes on me. So I've been a little cautious. All right. Next one we have, it's under the planner's report. And more or less what this is that EBM over at 110 and 100 Hyde Road. Let me see, we have a better, there we go.
Yeah.
All right. Oh,
And you have a
whoa.
GIS?
Does she have the GIS? I think she had the GIS in here. Someone had the GIS. Where was that? I had a GIS. I know I did in the wetlands one. There we go.
There you go.
That's the
Okay,
one I did in the wetlands.
all right.
All right, so here's Hyde Road. Okay, here's Johnson Ave. EBM has 2 buildings here, 110 and 100. There's an existing walkway at the rear of the building. It's a bituminous sidewalk. It connects both buildings, and mainly it's used for pedestrian access back and forth. There is a lot of traffic. They do occasionally bring product back and forth in boxes, and being that long walkway, if you're out in the elements, it does get wet. And so what they're looking to do is they're looking to do a covered walkway. So it'll be a 10-foot concrete sidewalk with an overhang, or with a roof on it. Okay.
Now, this walkway is used by employees only?
Yep, it's all done by employees. So it's in the rear of the building. So here's one of the buildings. Here's the existing sidewalk here. Here's one of the garage bays. And then here's the other garage bay. So here's that sidewalk that gets used back and forth. So the intention is to, lands over here. So the intention is to put a 10-foot concrete sidewalk, okay, with an overhang over it. The proposal is for all this steel to be hot dipped, galvanized, and painted to match the siding of the building. The project, the application has been accepted by the Inland Wetlands Commission because of the distance to the wetlands. So they're currently, the application has been accepted. We have to wait for 2 meetings. So the Wetlands Commission will be voting on it at their next meeting. It's considered a non-significant activity, so I really don't see much of any problems with having that approved. So the reason we're bringing that up to you tonight is that we feel that this is a minor alteration to the property, and as such does not need to go in front of planning and zoning as a site plan application. We have that right under the zoning regs to make that determination. We can make a determination. However, we need to bring it in front of the commission to confirm that that is the case. I have the applicant online if anyone has any questions that I'm not able to answer, but
Okay, yeah, let's run through everything. Everyone, Patrick, you have any questions about this modification?
No, so it's asphalt now. It's changing to concrete, same
Yep.
width, just putting a covered roof over it.
Is
and
that
these
something?
trees will probably, I think they're looking at these trees probably coming out as part of the widening of this and the structure. As you saw in these other pictures, I forgot to mention, you really can't see it from the road at all because it is so far back there, and that's kind of what they're showing with these. This is from the street, and you can see it's way back there, and there's just no real being able to see any of this from the road.
Right, yeah, no questions.
Thank you. Mike?
No, it looks fine. I've been back there and nobody's gonna even notice this. I don't see a need for a formal application.
Okay, thank you. Scott?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's fine as is. Thank you.
Sure. Matt?
No questions for me. Thank you.
Thank you. James?
Agreed. No questions here either.
And Liz?
No, I agree. It looks hard to see and I think it'll be fine and no question.
Okay.
It's great.
Yeah, so even if we remove the bushes,
Yeah,
we're fine
you're
still
still
with-
not gonna see it.
okay, all right.
As you can see, you're so far back there that
Okay.
it's way back in there that you can't even see it. So it's back here.
And it's, so the whole pathway will have the
Yep,
little
yep.
canopy?
There'll be the covered
Yeah,
canopy. It'll be on a slight curve as they show it here. Wetlands, we're working with them now that the roof will pitch one direction. There'll be a stone drip pad over here with a pipe inside, so the water will come off, hit that stone, go into the pad, or go into the pipe. It'll be piped into the storm system, which outlets into the wetland.
okay. Yeah, no, I don't have any new questions either.
All right,
So thank you for bringing it to our
great.
attention.
Thank you on that.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
And the last item under the planner's report has to do with 17 Talcott Notch. All right. Let me load those in. Give me 1 second,
Sure, thank you.
everybody. All right.
So we're near Yukon now, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And I don't know if she put a GIS in here. I probably should have loaded up a GIS, but this is at the corner of Talcott Forest and Talcott Notch. There's an existing office building in there now. They have approval for,
It's just like behind the exchange somewhere?
yep,
Okay.
exactly, behind the exchange. So the exchange property is like right here,
Okay,
okay?
Yep.
And this is back in there. It's tucked in there. It's pretty hard to see. Right now, they've got approval for, for a religious, sorry, they've got approval for a medical office and a hair salon. Currently, they're looking to bring in a religious school into there to hold some events. What's happened is the building has seen an exodus of, I think it was Hartford Healthcare in there. So they're looking to fill up some of these spaces. And in there, one of these is like an auditorium type area in there. So it's kind of hard to use. So what they're looking to do is they're coming in, and that's gonna be part of next month. What they're looking to do is put a church in this area. All right, so they're looking to put a church inside the building, and with it, there'll be the classrooms will be off to the side. So actually, specifically what we're asking for tonight is they still want to run the classes in there no matter what. So since it's a very small use, and as you can see in there, it's going to be very, it's not going to be much traffic at all. We're just kind of looking for an executive staff decision that we can just proceed with this religious school at this point. And then, as I said, next month, our next meeting, you're looking at a public hearing to include churches in the BR zone, which then they will make an application to come in and add the church to this auditorium building portion of it here.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I mean, the size of it is small right now, right?
Yep.
And
Yeah.
if it's, I mean, the
Maybe-
building is there, it's vacant, it has that little amphitheater, whatever.
Yep. Exactly.
So okay, so the question is whether or not the applicant can just work directly with you. and
Exactly,
Shannon. Okay.
on a staff decision.
Yeah.
Like I said, I guess the problem could be if you don't approve the change to the regulations next month, they can technically still run the school out of that small area. And since it's a very small use, very off hours, we didn't feel it was worth coming in for a special permit for that small little area.
Okay.
Because this is the actual church area they want to use, and then this area will actually be where they want to use the actual school portion of it.
Patrick, concerns? Comments?
No concerns. I'm good with staff handling it.
Okay, how about you, Mike?
It's such a limited use. I'm fine with staff handling it. The only thing I would say is that, obviously they're going to come before us for additional, but if they wanted to do, expand it to every single day of doing classroom stuff, then I think that should come before us again. But the limited use 2 days at 2 hours a piece, I have no issue with.
Okay,
Definitely agree.
okay, good point. How about you, Scott?
Yeah, I agree with the limited scope. I think it's fine for town staff to handle. Makes sense to me.
Matt, how about you?
Same, fine. Just curious, what's the capacity, the number of people that could fit in there?
In this area here?
Yeah.
In the auditorium, so I don't know. I'd have to, I don't know if it has it on here. You know what? I do have the property owner on. If you don't mind, I could ask him and he could.
Sure. Yeah, no concerns. Just curious the volume of
Okay.
people.
Yeah, I mean, as you saw before, they're looking for, as part of the church, I think they said there's 50,
Okay.
I think they're talking, 50 members of the church. So at the maximum would be, we'll say 50 people will be in here. With the kids, you're probably talking a very small percentage of that.
And that, I mean, that's good from, I guess, like a fire code perspective, like the capacity for the room is good for that.
That'll all come through as when the application is made for the special permit. We work with the fire marshal's office as part of it.
Perfect. Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. James?
I'm good moving forward.
Thank
With
you.
town staff, thanks.
Sounds good. And how about you, Liz?
No, it looks good. One quick question. When was this building built? I'm just curious how old it is.
These were floor plans from, oh no, that's from 2007. Tell you in a second. Let me see.
For making us work today, Bruce, huh?
That's all
Well,
right.
Shannon
That's
is
all
out.
right. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. Listen, I look at this stuff every day, so this stuff is, we're into it so much. You guys as the commissioners do not get as much time in these applications as we do. So, and again, they're great questions. Right here, it is right here. 17, the assessors has it as being built in, you see it? Oh, 82 is what the assessor has it as.
Okay, as I said, I was just curious. I didn't mean to make you work that hard.
No, that's easy. That's easy for us. Don't worry about it. No.
It's all good. I was joking, sorry.
Okay, and no, I think it's, staff can do a fine job with that.
And I'm with Mike also, if there are any changes. And then the only thought I had too is, some of like the religious institutions, they'll do community service or food drives or whatever. Like we definitely want to know more about.
And I
things like that.
apologize on that. We
No, it's
did,
okay.
there was a question that came up. We did speak with the owner and the owner actually had said that that is not allowed as part of the
Okay,
lease.
okay.
So,
All right.
Mike, if I had something that's I'm out of line on that, just please jump in.
That is correct.
Okay,
Perfect. Thank you very much.
awesome.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. So you got our go ahead.
All right, so the church can go in there, Mike, for the school. And then you'll bring the application in front of us for the zone change after.
Yes, I will. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
you.
Appreciate
Have a
it.
good night.
Thank you. You too. Good night.
All right, the last thing in front of us, well, actually, we have questions for Bruce. Any commissioners? No, we're good? You like the covered bridge in Unionville? Just kidding. That looks so good,
I've told people, if you wanted a covered bridge, now's your chance to see what it looks like.
right?
So
Oh my God,
it's
that's
a little
awesome.
dark, but yeah.
How, a few more months or like, I have no idea.
No, I think that's gonna be in all, because there's a lot of sanding they've got to do and a lot of painting. So I want to say this was going to be possibly going into spring, again. I say
Yeah.
I say that is in terms of construction because there's a lots of punch list items that have to be done.
Mhm.
But I'm thinking that I think hopefully a majority of that should be done this year, but I think it's gonna be pushed into the
Okay,
spring.
I think with the jerseys being moved, it's, it's a lot better than it was before, but,
Exactly. So
and then, our lovely, corner store, what is the opening date? Do you have? No?
Dollar Tree,
Yeah,
they were looking for a CO very soon. I think that I wanted to say it was in the next week or so. They were
Okay.
looking for a CO. There's a few issues with ADRC that we're working with in terms of some of the finishes that have to go back to them. And that's just for in the glass area. One of them is from the parking lot. In the glass area, they've got some gondolas, shelves that are exposed.
okay,
So we're working with them. They were gonna go to ADRC, but they're thinking they could just cut the shelves down so it's not that visible.
Okay.
The sign is temporary.
oh,
They
okay,
messed up that sign. I guess they said they mismeasured the letters. It's supposed to be one word, Dollar Tree, but they actually stacked them on top
yeah, I
of
saw that, I was,
each other.
okay,
So,
okay,
so yeah, it's going. They cleaned up a lot of the
Yes, they
trail.
did.
It's
They
coming
did.
along very good.
yeah, they did.
So,
Okay, so thank you. I was going to ask the commissioners and we're gonna vote on the minutes. Sandy, I think you provided us with a list of special permits for chickens in the past.
Yes.
I don't know if anyone had questions about that, or if it was just part of the record
Informational.
informational, okay, fine. I scanned at it and darn chickens. And I just wanna tell you, I should probably just end this, but that's okay. I am going to miss the next meeting. So enjoy your break. I think all of us needs it, right? All of us need it, excuse me. And Scott, do you know if you're gonna be around? I hope you're gonna be around.
I'm gonna be around.
Yay, okay. So I'm sure between Sandy, Shannon and Bruce, you'll be all set for the meeting and enjoy your summer, everyone. So thank you. And before I let you go, we need to approve the minutes from June 20th. We need a motion and a second.
Yeah, Patrick Carrier. I make a motion to approve the minutes of the June 20th, 2022 Town Planning and Zoning Commission meeting.
Okay, and a second.
Liz Sanford, I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Awesome, thank you. 8 o'clock, meeting adjourned. Woo-hoo, thank you, everyone. Have a good night.